Hey, what is up, everybody? I am here to give you my review of Fear the Walking Dead, um, from last week. So this is last week's review. I want to at least try to get this up before the new episode comes out tomorrow, which I'm gonna miss, because I have to watch something else that night. Uh, oh well. Um, but this episode is season one, episode 5, and it's called Col. I have no clue how to pronounce this word. Cobalt. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. I suck at reading. Um, yeah. And this episode came out on September 27th, 2015. And I haven't actually started watching it yet, but as it goes to commercial, I'm going to come on here and give my thoughts as it goes on, and then in small videos, and then I'm going to edit it into a big video. So, yeah. So, let's get it started. Okay, so the first thing that happens um, is we meet this new guy. We've never seen. Well, that's not actually the first thing that happens. They're in like this. I can't really say it's jail, but I guess it's where all the sick go and stuff like that. Um, and I guess that's where they are. I don't really know what it is yet because I haven't seen it. Maybe this is the place that was across the street where Chris saw the uh, Morph's code being done. So maybe that's it. And then at the end with Travis will show all the gunshots. Um, and we meet this new guy. That's and he's like the only thing I can really say about him, and this isn't to be racist, is that he's a smart black guy. That's the only thing I can really say about him. And he's saying he's talking to somebody, and he says that he wants to know what brings him here, and he talks about how he's a smart guy, and he looks at Doug because that's who he's talking to, and says that he's a buyer and he's the closer, and he says that he pretty much just left his family's life in the hands of strangers, and then he just walked out on him. So I'm assuming what he means is when like the military was in his house, he deuced right out of there, because that's what happened. He like walked out, and then they found him. And he even says that Doug brings all the negative things, like the earthquakes and all that stuff. He brings all the negativity to his family. And he's looking at his family, a picture of his family. He's like, "Is this your wife?" And she said that she has a good image. And he asks if she still looks like this. And he says, "Yeah." And then he tells Doug, "Well, that's a positive thing. That's the look on the bright side, because now there's a man that's going to be able to help her get through this." So then Doug just starts breaking down crying. Then the military takes him away. And then he looks over at somebody and says, "So who the hell are you?" And it's Nick. Uh, but this is great. I'm already enjoying this. I think this character has a lot of potential to be a great villain, because it seems like he's very educated and very smart. And that's just going to make him evil. And I can't wait to see what they do with this throughout this episode and maybe the next one. Um, but this was just great. I really enjoyed it. Um, and it was just awesome. I love the way he was talking down Doug, and I have no clue what he means when he says like that he has a man like you to help him get through this. Maybe like she's gonna say that he died or something. I'm not really sure what that means, but we're gonna have to wait and see. So let's see what happens next. Okay, so next, Ophelia's going crazy. Well, she's not really going crazy, but she's going ballistic. She's throwing bottles, and she's just pissed because she wants her mom back, obviously, because they kidnapped her. So I guess this is the place where it is, and everybody's all afraid of her. So they just think that she's going crazy, and she's just attacking the military for no reason. But Ophelia even says that if they once they're not here to help us, you've seen what they do. Once they attack your family, you understand what I'm going through, which is true. And then the sergeant, I guess, is just gonna, I guess, kill her since she's going crazy. Um, and then Adams, the one that she was dating, I think his name is Adam. Well, I think that it says it on his thing. I think that might be his last name. Um, it says on his suit. and he wants to just to take care of it because he doesn't want to just kill somebody for no reason. And the sergeant agrees, and then he's like, "Let me take you home," and she's like, "I can't go back home," and he says, "Just let me take you home," and they do something with this later. And one of the sergeants, I guess, quits, and I thought that was cool. This was a good scene, and then Travis and Madison are making plans um, about how they're gonna get back Nick and Liza. But Travis doesn't really seem interested in bringing Nick back. He only seems interested in bringing Liza back. And then Chris hears about this and he says he wants in on the plan because his mom's out there. And then Madison goes to say something and Chris says, "Shut up, Madison. This is fit. I'm talking to my dad about family." So then Travis takes him out and Travis says, "We're making plans about that right now. Me and Madison are talking it over." And Chris is just upset that his mom willingly got on the call and just willingly went with them, like thinking that she probably set that whole thing up. But Travis like, "No, your mom just wants to help the sick people. That's what she does." And they end up hugging, and then Travis tells Chris to go say sorry, but he just bursts out of the house and angry. And then Travis says sorry to Madison. He didn't mean that. And then he says when Chris comes back, tell him I went to go look for his mom. And then Madison says, no, to go put his mom home. And then Madison says, and Nicholas too, right? But he doesn't say anything. So then Travis leaves. And then Liza and the other nurse, let me look up her name real quick. Because I don't remember what it is. Just real quick. It's not going to take a second. Hold on. Dr. Bethany Exner, sorry. But Dr. Exner fixing up the patients, and there's like a ton of them, and they don't even have much nurses either. They have very limited nurses, so that's why Liza was needed there. And Liza wants to talk to what's her name? Griselda, because she doesn't really understand what's going on because she doesn't speak English. So she wants her to feel comfortable. And she also wants to talk to Chris to say what's going on. And then Madison finds the note that Alicia left for Matt. And also she goes to the house where... So then she goes to look for Alicia at somebody's house, and then she hears something. So she grabs a flashlight and a knife because she thinks it's either a zombie or just somebody in the house. So then when she starts traveling through the house, and then she opens the door, and then she sees Daniel, Ophelia, and Adam, and Adam is tied up in the chair, and it has his mouth taped, and Madison's like, "What the hell is this?" And then Daniel says, "This is how we bring them home," and then that was it. I thought this was great. This was great stuff. Great scenes. And I think what's gonna happen is I think they're gonna take a hostage and probably threaten to do something to Adam so that way they will bring him home. Because like normally I would say, well, it's only one guy, but military, no man gets left behind. So I feel like that's what's happening here, and I can't wait to see it. So let's see what happens next. Okay, so what happens next is they're talking to Adam and Ophelia, Daniel, and Madison, and Adam says he doesn't know where this hospital is, which is probably a bunch of bullshit, and he says he can't tell him. And then they talk upstairs privately, and Madison says that she doesn't agree with doing it this way. She says you should just do it professional like Travis is. Travis is going down and asking for him. But Ophelia and Daniel don't agree. They think they have to take these measures to do it. Because what the original plan is they're just gonna, when they realize that Adam is gone, they're gonna do like a trade. And Madison doesn't agree with doing it that way, and then when Ophelia leaves, Daniel says that the real plan is he's just going to beat the shit out of him to get the answers. And he doesn't want Ophelia to come in the house while he's doing that, because he said he promised he wouldn't hurt her, and he's gonna do it anyways. I thought this was a great scene. So then what happens next? Travis is talking to the lieutenant, and because Travis is like the male, and Travis just wants to get to get all his people back, um, and he wants to talk to Eckner, and Travis says, and then the lieutenant says, "No, you can't talk to her," and then he says, "Well, if you don't let me do it," and we've also find out too that these people that are fighting on the military and army and all that stuff aren't really trained to be doing that. These are people that don't have experience with that. So he also said that. And then Travis says that if you don't let me talk to her, you're gonna have a lot of angry people on your hands. And also, he also says that he has to push these people to be good. Like Travis has to push people to be, when he's teaching. And he says no. He says, "Is that a threat?" And Travis says, "No, I'm just trying to be helpful." So then the lieutenant decides to do it, and Travis says, "I thought you said I couldn't talk to her." I said you couldn't, but we can. We're the military. We help people from the U.S. and we have guns and all that stuff. So when they're about to go do this mission, one of them comes up and says, "Come on, sir, let somebody else do this. We've been up for 50 hours," which I can understand. And then the lieutenant hands him hands him a napkin or like a towel, and says pretty much and says, "Why don't you give this to your friends?" Claiming that he's just a crybaby. And then next, Daniel and Adam are downstairs, and Adam says that he loves Ophelia very much, and she loves me. And Daniel says that this wasn't Ophelia's idea, this was mine. And he talks about how Ophelia's innocent. He's the only thing that he's made that's pure. And he says that other things. And then Adam, and he also says that he promised Ophelia he wouldn't hurt him, but he's going to. But he says he's gonna anyways. And then Adam says he promised. Let's because they were supposed to just talk this out. Adam says, "Just ask me anything. I'll tell you anything." He does tell him what the hospital is, but it still looks like he's gonna hurt him. And then the next scene is Travis is traveling in like the army truck to go get Daniel's wife, Griselda, Nick, and his Liza, and one of them just thinks he's crazy to be doing that, because he's getting a son that's not even his, an old woman that he just met, and his ex-wife, and then they spot a zombie. They have like a code for that where one of them will just knock on like the roof because it's like a tank, so they're on that's where the gun is, and they see it, so they getting ready to shoot it, but the lieutenant wants Travis to shoot him, or to shoot the zombie, and Travis doesn't want to. He says he can't. He doesn't believe in guns. He makes up some BS excuse saying that he just can't. He's not a very good shot. And the guy says, "Well, come on, Helen Keller could shoot this thing." And if you don't know who Helen Keller is, it was a deaf-blind woman. So I liked that joke. And Travis is getting ready to do it, and he can't bring himself to do it. He just can't do it. They call him weak, and he just can't do it. So then the lieutenant shoots the zombie right in the head, and then they just drive off to continue to go to the hospital. I thought this was a great stuff. This was so good. I thought the scene with Travis was great. I actually thought he was going to do it and change his mind because he said he didn't believe in guns, so I thought this was going to be the change in Travis. So I thought that was great. I thought the scene with Daniel and Adams was great. So this was great stuff. Uh, alright. So the next thing, actually, I don't remember what happened first when they came back. Oh, I remember. Some people that were being bitten, get taken in, and Liza has to like do surgery on him and all that stuff because they're gonna try to fix him, which they really can't be fixed, because they're gonna turn. But I guess they don't know that yet. Um, and then they trying to remember what else. Travis and the lieutenant all go to this building where they have to go kill some zombies, and they tell Travis no matter what to stay in the truck. To stay in the tank. But I actually at first what I thought was gonna happen was he was gonna leave because he had to. But what ends up happening is we can't really see it, but we can hear it through like the radio. or the transmission. I don't know what exactly it's called. Um, and they it's like there's too many of them, so they end up getting outnumbered, and it doesn't go very well for them. And then we meet that smart guy again, and I guess he isn't a bad guy. He's just one of the sick people. I actually thought he was the bad guy, but he's one of the sick. Um, and Nick's temperature's at 100, so they think he's sick. So they're just so they think he's gonna turn into a zombie. So they're just gonna take him down and kill him. But the guy bribes um, him with some wins to do it, and then it happens. And I thought that was great because he actually isn't sick. I don't know. He's just going through that withdrawal stage and stuff. And then Alicia and Chris go to some rich people's house and just try on all their stuff and uses their toys. I thought that was great, hilarious stuff. And then Daniel um, says that is talking to Adam, and he asked, "Which man is me?" Because he was like am I doing the war back at home? Am I one of the people that torture, or am I one of the people that's the victim? And he beat he took the knives that he was using and like cut his flesh off his arms. It was pretty cool. And he hears a word get said. I think Kohat, which I think is the name of this episode. And Daniel wants to know what that means, and he tells him that he doesn't know. And then he says, the outer layer of the flesh is like pretty much if you cut it more, it becomes really sensitive. So then he starts cutting his flesh to tell him to make him say what Kohat is. And then eventually Ophelia sees what happens. She gets all distraught, and Madison sees it. And Daniel says that back at home she asked me what type of person I was, and I said when this was all during the war. I'm assuming like the Mexican War, the Gulf. I'm not really sure. I know there was a war in Mexico that happened. I don't remember which one it is. And he said that we had to do things that were necessary then, and now those same things are necessary now. And then Madison asked, Did he give us the information? And one thing I forgot to mention was the lieutenant didn't make it. The other army people the other people from the army come out, and the lieutenant, I don't know if he didn't make it, but it's too many people, so he's not going to make it. So they drive off, and they're not even going to go to the hospital because they think it's too dangerous. So they're just going to drop Travis somewhere, and he was going to walk the rest of the way because these are the pussies of the group. And I thought this was great stuff, though, especially the stuff with Daniel and Adams. And I got to see that smart guy again. I like him so far. And I thought this was great stuff. Amazing. Okay, so next, Liza goes to visit Eliza, I think her name is. And she was in recuperation. And Dr. Exner says, "You don't trust me, do you?" And she says that sometimes there's not a lot you can do, but then she was like drugged or something, so then she ends up waking up. And then Alicia and Chris are at the house still, and Alicia asks, "Do you ever wonder what happened to these people, like where they went off to?" And Chris says no. And then they just fucking smash the place. They just destroy everything. And then Travis comes back, and he asks Ophelia what happened. And Ophelia probably told him what Daniel did. So Travis asked Madison if she knew about it, but she has a look on his face like she did. And then Adams is telling the story about how when everybody was infected, they he just kind of ran, and he just tells the story about what happened. And then we find out what Cobalt means. It means that it's going to be the evacuation of the military, and they're just going to kill all the civilians. And that was great, but that's not good, though, for them. So obviously they're going to have to do something about that. Because Travis was about to let him go until he told him what Cobalt means. So let's see what happens next, because there's more. Okay, so this is like the last commercial break, so the episode's over after this point. The review will be done. Um, and what happens is Nick is puking, and pretty much the intelligent guy says he did that because he obligated his death. He pretty much, he didn't like save his life. He just made his life last longer. And he says that he has talents, and he talks about how the rich are always fine dining and always sitting around, and he understands what necessity means, but he says he's an addict, and then the guy says, "No, you're a heroin addict. There's a difference." And he says he's gonna need his talents for when he makes his move because he knows about the plan with about the military gonna escape and evacuate, and it's gonna happen at 9 o'clock. I didn't say that. I forgot to mention that. Um, and he says he needs it, and he's like, "What move?" And he shows him the key. He's gonna escape. He's gonna make his escape. And then the next thing that happens is Ophelia is like praying, and she's saying it like in Spanish, but we can see the words. She's pretty much knows she's gonna die, so she just is praying to like the devil and all that stuff, and then she ends up passing away. And Dr. Exner points out, I don't really sure exactly what this is, but this is pretty much like shooting her in the head, so that way she wouldn't turn. Because, the only way to kill a zombie is to shot through the head, and that's what happens. And I guess it's kind of like, what's it called? Like a spear going through the head. I can't really explain it, but that's what happens. And then Daniel goes to this arena. I forgot to mention this, but Adams mentioned this earlier when he had the when everything went bad, they put all the zombies in this arena, and that's where they are. And then that was the end of the episode. And yeah, that was it. So overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was awesome. I like the stuff that happened with Daniel in this episode. We really got to more of an introduction with him as a character. I like the stuff that happened with the lieutenant and all that stuff. I like the stuff meaning I liked the new character in this episode, even though I never found out his name. I like the stuff that happened with Ophelia. There was just a lot of enjoyable stuff about this episode, and I can't wait to see what happens in the next episode. And it was great. If I had to rate this out of like a 1 out of 10, I give it like a 10 out of 10 because it was really enjoyable. Well, I give it a 9 out of 10. The only thing I didn't really get was this whole stuff with Alicia with Chris. That was really just filler, but everything else was really good. But I can't wait to see that because next episode is going to be like a huge episode because a lot of stuff's going to happen. This is going to be the last. This is the last episode of the season, and I can't wait to see what happens. They're probably gonna do a lot of the stuff with the evacuation. I just can't wait to see what happens with that. But that's pretty much my review. If you want to check out my channel and continue to subscribe to check out upcoming videos and past videos, you can click down below. You can check out my CM Brothers videos up there where I post other videos. And my friend James, the Heat Man Hebert, has a music channel where he does vocal voiceovers for bands and stuff like that. You can check that out down below. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.